All right, all right. What's up, everybody? See if we can make this screen a little bigger. All right. All right, all right. Oh my goodness. All righty, let's see. All good. Okay. Pop up dashboard. All right, I think we're good. Share screen. Nope, man. Alrighty, I think we're in a good place. The light is a little bright. But can you adjust maybe maybe turn it slightly to that side, please?
Okay.
Nope, that one's fine.
Okay. Which one?
That one. Can you turn it that way, please?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that's a little better. The joys of being alive. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. All right. So there's a lot of shadows. So let me fix that. Hold on. Let me get this lighting. See how it's like reflecting off of here? It's like super white.
Oh, I see. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's not
This
that bad.
seems a little cloudy.
I see. Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Let's do this. Hello.
It's
Hello.
time to make some bread.
It definitely is time to make some bread. Welcome, welcome. So I figure, what should we do, Jane? Should we just start, or do we give people? I know it's the rush hour kind of time and all that. People trying to get situated.
Yeah.
Do we
I
give
think start in 5 minutes.
in 5 minutes?
Yes.
Another 4 minutes.
Yes.
So while you're here and we're being kind as to wait on everyone else to join, this is your time to, give me your questions, right? About what we're doing. I hope you have all your ingredients if you are going to be baking with me. And if not, then this is the perfect opportunity for you to ask any questions about being plant based and about this baking that we're about to undertake. All right, oven is off. All right. So, most important thing is when you're baking, of course, is measurements, right? Super, super important. And you want to make sure that you have all of your ingredients. You want to make sure you have all of your equipment. And this baby right here is one stage ready to go. And this is the dough that I have proofing, right? So I wanted to show you as many stages as possible in terms of what you should expect based on how much bread you're making. All right. Tiffany, what's up? Hello. Will this video stay up afterwards or be emailed to us? Both. All right, both, definitely. So you don't have to worry. We will definitely send the link and it will be available so you can always go back and watch it. All right. So let's see. We said we'll give everyone 5 minutes. Exciting. Yes, it is. I mean, this recipe, once you make it, you're gonna be hooked. Like it comes out amazing every time, and it's so flavorful. and it's literally one, two, three, four ingredients plus yeast, and milk, water. You know what I mean? So I love it because you know everything that's going into the recipe. You know everything that's going into the dough, the bread itself, and you don't have to worry about a bunch of GMOs and a bunch of you know synthetic chemicals and just things that don't necessarily need to be in bread. You know what I mean? So I'm really, really excited about, getting this class started and showing you the bread that I've been making. I mean, I did a cinnamon raisin swirl a couple weeks ago for my son's birthday, and we made French toast with it. And it was impeccable. And it's the same dough that I used. I just rolled it out a little differently. I basically treated it like cinnamon rolls or cinnamon buns, and sprinkled the cinnamon. But the trick with making cinnamon swirls so it doesn't end up like cinnamon buns is you brush the inside with milk first. So when you put the cinnamon, instead of the cinnamon crystallizing with the sugar, it kind of just does this thing where the milk kind of attaches itself to it, and it allows the cinnamon to stay in the actual dough, and it just creates these beautiful swirls. So it's pretty amazing. So we're gonna have some fun, and I know you're gonna have some fun once you try the recipe, Tiffany. It's gonna be a killer. All right. So thank you for joining us. We have one more visitor. Cool, cool. We're waiting. Hello, hello. Whoever you are, say hi, introduce yourself. We're actually gonna get started because it's 7:05, and I said we would get started at 7:05. So as soon as you say hi, and I know who you are, I'm gonna jump into the fun that we're about to have. Let me get my rolling pin while you type up hello and introduce yourself. I just forgot to take out my rolling pin. There we go. Pull out the big mama jama today. All right. You're only going to need a rolling pin if you are doing a double recipe. And this right here is actually a double recipe. That's why this is the size of the bowl, right? And it's a pretty big bowl. So I doubled this recipe just so we can play around, so you can see what the proofing needs to look like, which is super important, right? Because with this recipe, the initial proofing is 40 to 50 minutes, and then we're going to punch it down. So I wanted to show you as many stages as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this stage right here, all right? Because we need this to sit for 20 minutes in the baking pan before we put them into the oven, right? Because there's two proofing stages in total to make this bread the beautiful thing that it is. All right, so let's get started. Welcome to Baking with Chef Ed. Today we're doing a very simple, very delicious bread that's just going to be really tasty and very simple to make. All right. Hi, Chef Ed. It's Sweet Coco. Hey, what's up, Sweet Coco? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. So we're doing really delicious, very simple, very clean bread. All right. You can make it at home. The ingredients are flour. We sent out recipes to everyone. And if you didn't get a recipe, then just send me a message later on, and I will be happy to send you the PDF slide with all of the information, the tools, and everything that you're going to need. But basically, you only need your KitchenAid mixer and a measuring spoon, measuring cup, a liquid measuring cup, right? Something like this, right? And then you definitely need a digital thermometer, right? This is super, super important. I'll send a message. Please do. I would love to send you the recipe with directions. You need a digital thermometer because the temperature of the milk and the water needs to be 110 degrees. If not, a few things is going to happen. One, your yeast is not going to activate properly, or you're going to kill the yeast, and then you're not going to end up with what you're initially supposed to be making, which is some tasty bread. All right. So the steps are: you make the dough. Once the dough sits, you let it sit for 40 to 50 minutes, and then you end up with this beautiful thing right here. Your sous chef is beautiful. She says, "Hey, Jane."
Oh,
Thank you, thank you. My
hey.
sous chef is beautiful. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. So I like to put plastic wrap over it and then a towel. This just helps keep the heat in there. And with the recipe, you're preheating your oven to 200 degrees for about 10 minutes. Then you're turning it off and you're letting your bread proof in there. And depending on where you live, the temperature of your house might be okay. You just have to figure that out. So after you make this a few times, you will see if you can leave it outside or if you have to put it into the oven. But rest assured, putting it into the oven. You see how? You see, I wish you could, Jane. The light's really harsh,
Okay.
so you can't really see the dough. So can we maybe take one off? Let me see. Eh, no, it's very very weird. Maybe take both off. Let me see.
Oh, that's right, huh?
It yeah, it's just making the dough very. Ooh,
Too dark?
that's so weird. No, it got kind of worse.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway, we'll keep the lights on because now
Okay.
it's like really dark.
You know what? Okay, I have an idea.
So I think I need to change the diffuser.
Okay.
All right. So bread is on the counter. That's good. Nope. Put it back where it was. Okay, perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Is
we're
it
we're,
better?
we're good. It's better.
Okay, good.
So when you take your dough out, you want the right now
Oh, that
the
looks good.
stage. Yeah. So
Yeah.
right now the stage is you want to basically flatten it to about an inch thick, right? Because you're going to be rolling this. And depending on how you want your layers to look, when you make your dough or make your bread, that's how flat you want to roll this out, right? So the idea here is to basically get this to a place where we can roll it up, but you're creating a rectangle. All right, super important. So once you create the rectangle, and you don't want to go too heavy either, right? So once you create your rectangle, then you get your baking pan because that's the next step, right?
So you're gonna do this while
Yes,
that's smart.
right. So we're doing it kind of not necessarily backwards, but this way I can show you all the steps, right? Because that's the most important thing. You get all the steps. So this way you'll see and we can then continue. So I have my baking pan already, right? And because this is a double recipe, that's why I'm using this size baking pan. Right, so I'll just put that to the side. And then what we're gonna do, we're going to roll this up. When you're rolling it, right, this is super important. When you're rolling it, you wanna roll it tight. So it's okay to stick your fingers into the dough. You don't have to worry about that because we're gonna proof this again. So anything that you do here, it's not gonna affect it at all. So as you roll, you pull and you bring it back, right? So it's like a pinching situation. You roll it in, you stick your fingers kind of into the dough, and then as you roll it, you pull it up and you bring it back down, right? This way your rolls are nice and tight, all right? And you just do this all the way. What size pan is that? Good question. This was it a 14? I think it's a 12 by 4 pan, right? I got it from Amazon. I can send you the link if you send me a message. All right? So the next important step here is the pinching of the dough, right? So first things first, you want to take the ends and you want to just kind of push it in like that, right? And then where you left off, you want to squeeze it. You want to pinch these together and don't worry about how it looks. You want to pinch them so it doesn't separate when it's proofing. All right, super, super important. Just push that in and you make sure that you pinch the ends where you rolled it up. So you're basically sealing the dough at this point. All right, and then we get our baking pan. These are non-stick, but I like to just spray them with a little bit of non-stick just in case. And the brand I use is it's an avocado oil spray. It's really amazing. There's none of that toxic gas in it that they use for cars or equipment. All right, it's literally just air and olive and avocado oil. So pick up your dough and you put it in to the baking pan, right? And then you flatten it down. All right. So the goal here is to let it touch all sides of the baking pan. All right. And you don't have to worry about if you see fingerprints or anything like that, because we're going to proof this again. So we don't have to worry about that. So this is what you basically want the bread to look like inside here. And now we're going to put plastic wrap on this, and we're going to let it proof for about 20 minutes. Okay, so the idea here is to let this basically fill up inside of the baking pan that you're going to bake it in. So make sure you pick the right baking pan, and you don't want to put the plastic wrap on this and squeeze it down really tight. All right, because you want to allow the proofing to do its thing and rise evenly. Because otherwise, if you pack it in there and you tie this really tight, then it's going to be fighting with itself. All right, that's the brand I use too. I love it. Yeah, it's that brand. They're the best. Like, there's no other brand like it. Like, there are no other, hands down, they're the best. So this goes into the oven, right, for 20 minutes. And remember, I preheated the oven at 200 degrees for 10 minutes, right? So just to kind of warm it up, because, you know, it's winter time here, so the kitchen might be a little cooler. But to be honest with you, it's not too bad, you know, the kitchen, even if it's a little cool, it just needs to be in a place that's not super cold. All right. Welcome to the new joiner. So let's get this party started, right? Let me set a timer for the proofing. So, hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes counting down.
Counting down.
You got it?
Yes. All right. Now for the fun part. I have my mixer. All right. My trusty KitchenAid. This baby has been through some struggles. I'm not gonna lie, but she's still with me. All right.
Didn't get that. Could you try again?
I wasn't talking to you, sir. Okay. Let's Siri mind their business. Okay. So let's do this. So remember, I said with this recipe, you have to pay attention to the temperature. Super, super important. All right. So we need to get the milk and the water to 110 degrees. So it's not hot at all. 110 degrees is like literally a little above, it's about lukewarm. Okay. So we want to pay attention to that. So what I like to do is, just in case I forget and the milk and water gets too hot, I leave the maple syrup out and the butter. So that way I can add that to this, and that will help cool it down faster. So I'm not waiting super long to have this cool down. All right. So maybe 5 minutes on medium flame and it'll be ready. All right. So in the meantime, let's get everything else in our mixing bowl. So I have my measurements here already. All right. So I have my flour. And then in with the salt. All right. Let me get my dough hook. Crank that up. And then we pretty much just want to give this a little mix, just so it can, you know, the salt and the flour can incorporate and just kind of mix up together before we add all of the other liquids, right? Which is our maple syrup and our butter. Okay. The yeast is going to go into the milk in a second. So let me turn this on. So we use, obviously you can use any vegan butter you want, right? There are some that are great. There's some that are not so great. Miyoko's is one of those great brands. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Chef Harrison Jane. You're so welcome, Elaine Henderson. How are you?
Hi, Miss Elaine.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for
All right?
joining us.
We're just getting started. So we have the salt and the flour in here. I'm about to check the temperature of my milk.
So it's just salt and flour in there.
Right now,
Okay.
yes. All right. So super important. We want to make sure that the temperature is right. So we're already at 141, 43. All right. So that's what I was saying. Like it, you don't, especially with the amount that we're making, we don't need a lot of time. So I'm going to add my butter in, right? Because this is going to help cool it down, right? And the butter needs to be melted. So it's perfect inside of here. All right.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So we have that. Put this over here.
Let me know if you need help.
It's not my first rodeo.
Oh.
All right. Maple syrup can go in as well. All right. Okay. So we're at 139 right now. And we're going to give it a little time. I'm going to start this up a little bit. Sorry. So you want to be careful. Like I said, you want to really make sure that this is the right temperature, because too hot of a liquid kills your yeast, and too cold of a liquid, it doesn't allow it to activate the way it's supposed to.
Wow.
Right?
So temperamental.
Yes, it is. And that's what baking is. Baking is a science. Like if, with cooking, you can just do a pinch of this, a dash of that, however way you feel, throw some in there and you're good. But with baking, nah. If you don't follow the rules, you're going to end up with something completely different.
Man, but the bread you've been making lately, whew, it's worth it.
It is, right? So we're almost there. We're at 129. Any questions so far? Maple syrup. Yes. So when I did this recipe originally, it's normally would be honey, but we're vegan, so we don't use honey, unfortunately. So you can use maple syrup or you can use honey. I don't like to use sugar because it's sugar and it's heavier. It changes the bread, and it's sugar. So
Would you say maple syrup is the healthier version
of I mean, yeah, I would say so. Definitely. It's cleaner, right? And it's from a tree. Granted that sugar is from a tree too, but
it's refined.
Yeah. So we're almost there, people. We're almost there. Any questions while you're waiting? Yes, great to know. Yeah, most definitely, Elaine. It's one of those things, right? And the cool thing about plant-based food, or whatever it is you're making, there's always a way, right? There's always something that you can do to make it different, right?
We found a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where the fun is.
Yeah. Even the cakes, like I don't even know how regular cake tastes now. I don't want it because we're able to use other ingredients.
So I'm just cooling this down a little bit. All right. 120.
What does it need to be?
110. So we have 10 more. 10 more to go. What kind of flour? Is it gluten-free? Great question. So it is not gluten-free. This is all-purpose flour. You can do all-purpose flour. I have done somewhere it's whole wheat. I like it. Sometimes I'll do a mix. So I'll do half whole wheat, half all-purpose flour, or even half bread flour. But you could totally do this recipe. Are you gluten-free, or do you do gluten-free food? Put us in the freezer for a second.
That's right.
While we answer some questions. Okay, so let's do some questions while we're waiting for that to cool down. Sometimes, not always. So with gluten-free, I will say this, right? Because gluten-free doesn't have the gluten, obviously. So because of that, the flour tends to be drier, right? So what I would do to really make gluten-free food even better is to make the dough and let it sit. So it's almost like I would treat gluten-free bread like a sourdough, right? And I would let it sit for 24 hours once you make the actual dough, right? And you can let it sit in the fridge or you can let it sit on the counter, right? But the thing is, if you're letting it sit on the counter for 24 hours, you have the yeast to worry about, and that's gonna keep proofing and turn into this big thing. So I would keep it into the refrigerator and let it sit for 24 hours. That helps to break down and moisten the molecules a little bit more in the gluten-free flour, and it'll give you a little bit more of a similar texture to regular flour versus what tends to happen with gluten-free flour and pastries and doughs, where it's kind of grainy and a little sandy. So that would be my take on just doing that kind of flour, right? I had a client open a restaurant, and the whole restaurant was gluten-free. So all the desserts I had to create for them had to be gluten-free. So I learned a lot working with that, and then the type of butter you use as well. So it's really important to, there's certain ingredients you need to play around with when it comes to gluten-free food that can really enhance what it is that you're making, right? Let's see where our temperature gauge is. My pleasure, my pleasure. All right, let's see where we're at. We are at, oh, look at that. We're ready to rock and roll. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so into the warm mixture, right, we're gonna add our yeast. And you want to be careful when you're adding the yeast, right? You don't want to just throw the whole thing in, because you're gonna create this clump, and it's gonna be very hard for you to kind of dissolve the yeast in, right? Once they touch liquid, they kind of form a bond, and they don't want to let go of each other. So you want to sprinkle it in around the surface of the liquid, and then give it a little mix, and then sprinkle it in again, right? In stages. So basically, you're just, in small allowances, right? In small doses. Once it's completely mixed in and we're ready, it doesn't need to dissolve. You just need to basically get it wet, right? You just want to combine everything together. That's the most important thing. Now, you want to turn on your mixer nice and slow, right? Not too fast, about medium. And then you want to, actually, you know what? I'm going to use my measuring cup so I don't make a big mess. And we want to make sure that we get everything out of the pot, right? All of the yeast, because it'll kind of stick to the bottom. So now we can go into our mixer, right? Would date syrup be too heavy? No, not at all. Yeah, yeah. Tiffany, date syrup is totally okay. So with the dough, you don't want to put the milk in too fast, because then you're gonna just have this puddle in the middle. And if that does happen, no big deal. You will just have to stop the machine and give it a mix, right? And just kind of scrape the sides. And the more you do dough, right? The more you make dough, you'll understand the nuances and what you're looking for, and what the dough should feel like, right? Super important, because there's a few things you want to pay attention to. You want to pay attention to how it looks, and you want to pay attention to how it feels. All right. You want to make sure you get all this yeast out of here. All right. Okay. My old high school teacher, she was my home ec teacher. Her name was Miss Clark. God bless her heart. Anytime we would make stuff, she made us scrape out every single thing out of the bowls, like every single thing out of the containers. I mean, we couldn't leave anything behind, right? So let me pick this up so you can see inside of the bowl, right? So that's the beginning of what we're looking for. And ultimately, what you want to see inside of here is the dough cleaning the sides of the bowl. So if your dough seems a little wet, and as the machine is spinning around, if your dough seems a little wet, or you see it sticking to the bowl, then just very lightly sprinkle in I was about to say some sugar. You want to sprinkle in a little bit of flour, all right? And that will help clean everything up, all right? And you don't want to do too much. Like, this is the opportunity to just do small amounts at a time. So like maybe uh, not even a tablespoon. I would say go with a teaspoon, right? And see what that does. And if you still need a little bit more, then we can sprinkle in a little bit more. All right. The machine needs to take everything off of the bottom of the bowl. And then what you do is you lower it, right, to get everything, whatever is stuck to the bottom. This way, when the machine spins again, it'll be able to pick everything up. All right. The goal is when you touch the dough that it doesn't stick to your hands immediately, right? Super important. So just a very light sprinkle. All right. So what we're looking for is the dough to basically you touch it and there's nothing, right? Like you touch it, I'm squeezing it, right? And nothing is sticking to my hands. So super important. All right. What texture are we looking for? Firm, medium. So we're looking for definitely medium, definitely not firm. We want it to be very pliable. Like, look, like you see? So definitely medium to soft, I would say. All right. Great question. So we want to knead this for about 10 minutes. All right, just to get it nice and activated. And then we're going to get our bowl ready to put this into. So I have my bowl here that I used previously. I'm going to just take a little bit. I love using olive oil. All right, you don't have to if you don't want to. You can use your nonstick spray, but olive oil has flavor. It's good for you, and you know, it's awesome. And it tastes great. I don't know if I already said that. But you don't need to put too much, and you're basically oiling the entire bowl. Depending on how much dough you make, you're gonna know how high you need to oil your bowl or how big of a bowl you need, right? Super important. You need to make sure, and healthier, yes. You need to make sure that the bowl that you're putting your dough into is big enough so that way when it's proofing, it has enough room to grow and expand without running over the size of the bowl, because then you're gonna waste, you know, all that time that you spend making this beautiful dough. All right, so let me show you what this looks like. It looks beautiful and it already smells amazing. Put that there, move this out of the way since we don't need it anymore. Bring that down. Alrighty, let's switch. So you just want to slide the dough off of the hook. Make sure you get everything off of it. All right, put that to the side, and then you scrape this out of here. All right, so this is what we're looking for. All right, nothing is, it's not super sticky. Like it's sticky just enough, but not sticky to the point where it's leaving anything on your hands. All right, and then we're gonna just make this into a nice ball, and we're gonna put this into our greased bowl. All right. Now for the next step, super important. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. So next step is to cover it, right? Plastic wrap first, because this is gonna seal in the heat. All right, super, super important, because the heat is what is gonna allow this to proof and rise to perfection, right? That's one. And then two, earlier on I said I like to just go again with a towel. This will definitely keep everything in here and just keep it where it needs to be. And this goes into the oven. Let's take out what we have in here, proofing. All right, and then this fresh one goes into the oven. All right. So we would normally put that into the oven and we would let that sit for 40 to 50 minutes. All right, depending on your location, your home, etc., your oven, all that good stuff. All right. And once that sits for 40 to 50 minutes, you would take it out, and this is what I showed you earlier on. After you take it out, you would roll it out. All right, you would form it into that dough, and then you would put it back into the oven and let it proof again. So you see how this filled up the container. So we're gonna just put this to the side, right? And what we would do now is once we let that proof for the 20 minutes, we would turn the oven on to 350. All right, super, super important. So I'm gonna take this one out of here. All right, because my kitchen is warm enough, we can leave that to the side to proof. And we will put our oven to 350 because I have bread to bake. Now, the trick here to get really amazing crust on your bread and to keep your bread nice and moist as well is you want to put into your oven, the bottom of your oven, you want to put a baking pan, right? Preferably a deep one that won't warp as it gets hot, dry, right? You put your oven on. Once your oven is hot, I like the pan is already in the oven, so you don't have to remember it later on. I put the pan into the oven before I turn the oven on. So now that the pan is in the oven and the oven is on, it's getting hot to 350. I will turn water on to boil, and it's all in the recipe. You'll bring the water up to boil, and what you do is as soon as the bread goes into the oven, you would put a cup to 2 cups of water in that hot pan in the oven, and the steam from that will create the most amazing crust. All right, and once you have that going, you bake it for about 40 minutes, depending on the size of the loaf that you're doing. If you're doing a double recipe, if you're doing the half pans, like the dough that I made right there, that can fit into these. I love these baking pans. They make the bread just look really cool, and they even come with a lid, so you can put a lid on these and let them bake. So when they bake up, they come out completely square. That's the 20 minutes for the one that we had in the oven proofing, right? So finding really cool baking pans is half of the battle and just makes it look really delicious. Delicious homemade bread. I'm telling you, it's the most amazing thing. And trust me, once you make this recipe, you will see why I love it so much. Like, it's ideal. It tastes really good. And honestly, when you take a slice, you won't be able to stop eating it. Like, it's highly addictive.
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
So this is what you can expect to get when you bake that delicious loaf of bread, right? And it's just so nice, right? And it smells like you went to a bakery and you got it. Like, it's just really, really cool. And I love it. Let me slice a piece of it so you can see what this looks like, right?
How come have you tasted?
Yeah, I know you would. I know you would. So this is our delicious loaf of bread that we made earlier on. I wanted to make sure I showed you every step, of what the process could look like. And the other cool thing about making bread, right, is the fact that once you have your dough down, you can literally take everything seasoning and sprinkle it on top, right? You can take smoked paprika, you can take Italian seasoning, like, you can really have fun. You could take fried garlic chips, you can have fun, fried shallots, right? So the one that we have proofing here, what I'm gonna do is before we put it into the oven, I'm gonna sprinkle some of my seasonings on it, and you can make all kinds of flavored bread for your crust, right? And just have a lot of fun with it, right? Because these are savory, so you can literally put anything on top of it that you want. Thank you so much. It looks amazing. I appreciate that. We all need samples, nails.
I know.
I would love to send you guys some. I mean, I'm telling you, look at this.
Oh man, this is one you baked earlier.
Yeah, this light is crazy.
I know.
But okay,
Oh,
here
there
we
we
go.
go.
Right, let me get my bread out of the way. So this is right. Like, just look at it. Like, nice and soft, like solid, and just so good, right? And the smell of it smells like heaven. Like, I mean, I love bread. I love fresh bread. Jane, you are so blessed. Chef Harris, such a great chef. Oh, you're so kind.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much. I just love cooking, and I just love being able to feed people with the things that I make, and I love to share that. So it's, for me, it's fun to be able to create something from scratch that allows that allows us to, have fun in the kitchen, right? Um, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
The fact that you have a skill or you have a knowledge of something, to share that information is,
It's the best feeling.
is why we're here, right? So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is our bread class, right? So we have guests waiting for us to share the bread. They're lining up. You can't see them, but they're lining up already. They smell it.
Wow.
you know.
That was
So
good timing.
yeah, exactly. So
It's so good.
right,
And I know every single ingredient in here.
that's the thing right there, man. And that's the thing that makes what you're doing so much better, right? Because when you know every
man.
single thing that went into what you're making, then you're able to enjoy it even more, and that's the whole point of cooking at home, cooking for your family. So it's like, why not do it if you can, right? And if you don't know how, then you figure out a way to learn how, right? Because it's possible.
Especially in the things that you eat so much of it.
Exactly.
Like bread, milk, or
Yeah, food.
but yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
you're
bread
so
is
welcome,
almost
Elaine. You're
every
so
day.
welcome. Yeah, so oven is ready. Let me get the water on for the oven. Right, the water that you're gonna pour into the oven, it needs to be boiling, right? It needs to be hot, so that way it
You
doesn't
feel
cool
that,
down.
Jane?
No, it's plenty.
Okay.
The water needs to be boiling, super important, because if it's not boiling, then you're gonna cool down the temperature in the oven, and we don't want to do that. So everything needs to be where it needs to be. It needs to be hot. The pan needs to be hot. The oven needs to be hot. The water needs to be boiling. So this way we can just go straight in. So I'm gonna get some seasonings, and I'm gonna show you what I was talking about in terms of, making the bread something even more spectacular, right?
I see how you hurried up to put that bread away. Don't. You think you slipped? She's
Oh
like,
my
yeah,
goodness.
I'm gonna put it. You put it away.
Back up, Jane.
How'd you know?
Back up, Jane. Guys, you guys don't know. Jane will stand in and she'll eat out the whole bread. She'll eat everything and then be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know you were there." All right. So first things first. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of milk and just kind of brush the top, right? So that way, whatever we sprinkle on will stick. All right. So Jane, if you don't mind, can you grab the milk for me, please? I know you want to eat, but we have a class here that we're doing. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the final stages of our delicious bread. All right. I don't need a lot. Just
Okay, just a little bit.
yeah, but a little bit more.
Okay.
Just yep, that's it. Okay, so let me get my pastry brush. All right, and what we do is literally just a little bit of milk, and this is coconut milk actually, right? And we're just gonna brush the top of the loaf, all right? Because we need to make sure that whatever we're sprinkling doesn't fall off to the sides, right? So we want to make sure that it adhere to the dough, right? Super
Oh, I see.
important. Yeah. Okay, so that's good. So we're gonna go with a little bit of chili crunch, right? So I'm putting, so you can literally put anything you want, right? And this has onions, garlic, chilies, a little bit of dry miso, ginger, chili de arbol, and we're just gonna sprinkle it on like that,
Ooh, that looks pretty.
right? So
I
imagine
want you to see it.
you use this and you make a sandwich,
Oh,
right?
stop
That's
it.
gonna be money right there, right? And then
Yes.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of smoked salt.
Now you're showing off.
We're
What?
gonna go with a little bit of smoked salt, right? And that's going to, just add another level of flavor, right?
What?
So this will be my version of an everything
Oh,
bread, right?
nice,
And
yeah.
like that's what I'm saying. Like the thing about baking or cooking in general.
Let's
Like
have
you
so
can
much
have fun. You know, you can basically do anything you want, right?
She said, "Does the coconut milk affect the color of the bread?"
No, it doesn't affect the color at all. It will give it a nice golden brown color. So you know, it will be the equivalent to an egg wash,
That looks so good.
right?
That looks
Thank
so
you, baby.
good.
So that's in. We're gonna do a timer for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, yeah. And then we're gonna be good to go. They can see you stealing another slice of bread. What kind of milk? We use Khalifa, right? Jane Harris.
You have this camera angle too wide.
You should have looked. So this is the brand of milk that we use. All right. It's delicious, and I like it because the coconut milk is not that strong,
Yeah.
assertive
Yeah.
coconut milk that you get from the canned coconut milk, right? It's very different. This one is very neutral. It's because they mix it with coconut water. So it's not that concentrated because coconut milk flavor differentiates based on the stages the coconut milk is harvested in, right? So if the coconut milk is, if they toast the coconuts before they make the milk, or if they use the brown part of the coconut meat, that makes the coconut flavor stronger,
What?
right? Yeah, it does.
Really?
Yeah, so if you know, if they just use the white part, it's a completely different flavor. It's more pronounced with the darker part of the coconut.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then they also use coconut water. So there's a lot that they do that makes it very neutral. I think coconut milk is an excellent choice. I agree. Thank you so much. Right, and if you don't use coconut milk, you can use oat milk too. That works just as well. All right. I don't blame you, Jane. I love bread. It looks so good. Yo, I love bread
I
too.
love bread.
Like Bridget, you don't understand. It's bread is like my jam, man. Like
Bread is my jam.
especially good bread. And then when it's
Mm.
warm, yeah. I almost forgot the timer. I was chatting away over here. Hey Siri, set a timer for 40 minutes.
40 minutes counting down.
All right. Awesome. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, that was class. I
Wow.
hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. For anyone watching, if you didn't get the PDF presentation with the ingredients and equipment that you need, just send me a message, and I will be happy to forward you that information ASAP. All right, so you're not without anything to create
And the
your
recipe,
own.
right?
Yeah,
Yes.
everything is together, so
Perfect.
you can get it all in one shot. Cool.
Thank you, chef.
You're so welcome. Yeah, people. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. Any more questions before I sign out? I am more than happy to answer. Let me know. I am here. Give you guys a couple minutes to let me know if you have any questions. Chef, I had such a good time. I can't wait to make it. Oh, you're gonna love
Oh,
it.
you're
Thank you
gonna
so much,
love
Bridget.
it.
Like I'm telling you. And remember, this recipe, consider it your base recipe for any kind of bread you want to make, right? So you can go sweet or you can go savory with this recipe. It's very neutral in terms of flavor, very clean. So you can really have fun with it. Like I was saying earlier on before you came on, I did a cinnamon swirl and raisin with the same recipe, and it's money.
Oh my god.
And then we turned it into French toast the next day.
Oh, it was
So you can really have fun with this
So
recipe. Wow, this was a fantastic class. More. Yes, we definitely will be doing more, Tiffany. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, this is first of many. Yeah. Oh wow, I'm telling you, this recipe. Wait till you try it. Wait till you try it. You're gonna see why I'm so gun ho about this recipe. Like it's amazing.
It's really good.
So we definitely have more class in store. We are doing this to promote our community that we started on school, and we started this private community where I'm housing all of my delicious recipes.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's a great place to be, and this is just the beginning of the classes that we do there. How do you store your bread? Great question. So once it's baked, I let it cool down completely, so it's room temperature cool, and then I wrap it in plastic, And depending on how many loaves I make, if I'm not gonna get to all of it in 5 days, then I put it in the freezer. Right, it works really well in the freezer, and then just pull out the day before you need it. And I wouldn't let it defrost outside. I would let it defrost in the refrigerator. So pull it out of the freezer and just put it right into the refrigerator and give it 24 hours, of course, for it to defrost slowly, naturally on its own. And it'll be just as good as if you baked it that day. And then, toast it or warm it up the same way you would, any other bread. Yeah. Irresistible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Can I use this recipe to make vegan? Oh, 100%. Yes, that is gonna come out amazing. Goulash is like, yeah, and you know what? You'll have fun with it because once you start doing it, you can make the necessary tweaks that you need. But I don't see why you can make it with that. Like I was saying, this bread recipe is so versatile that you can basically have a lot of fun with it, right? And I know you're gonna cook it up because that's what you do. You know what I mean? You chef it up. So I know you're gonna be able to work your magic and make something really amazing with it as well.
I'm about to eat the crumbs.
Jay, get out of here.
I was waiting for the camera to get turned off. I'm like,
You're like, no, don't clean up the crumbs. All right, people. I don't want to keep you. I know you're busy. You have lots to do. I have my spices from you. I can't wait. Bridget. Yes. The spices,
Thank
smoky
you.
salt, even the flavor maker. Imagine that yellow from the turmeric with the celery salt and the black pepper. Oh man, that's gonna be jamming, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Every time you bake, everyone gathers in the kitchen. It brings the family together.
It makes the place smell
It
so
smells
good.
so good.
When it's proofing the yeast, that activation,
it's such a happy activity. You know what I mean?
It's magic.
It really is.
It's magic.
I love it. I wish we were baking,
timing is everything, and we're doing it now.
Yeah.
So
now we can't stop. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. So thank you, Bridget. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Bridget,
Elaine.
Thank you,
We
everyone.
appreciate you.
We can't wait till the next class.
And whoever else didn't say anything, we thank you too.
We thank you too.
All right. And we will see you next time.
Alrighty.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.